Tonight on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, after the election, the Democrats, as I stated before, they're broken into 1,000 pieces. So they're trying to gather up all the pieces and trying to restructure everything back again. But some of these Democrat shills, they are trying their best to have some sort of relevance, right? Case in point, tonight we're going to talk about Bakari Sellers, another grown man who is sitting up here crying about Vice President Kamala Harris. She's never cried over him, not one day, but he's crying about her, right? And we talked about him, crying on the internet and being sassy and buck broken. That's kind of like the MO if you're going to be on the side and you are definitely a black man. But Bakari Sellers was taking issue with Trump's cabinet. And I'm going to show you exactly what he said and give some sort of questioning to Bakari Sellers and others who may agree, with him, on some things. And also, Bakari Sellers, what's going to mess you up in your argument is this. Y'all are the party of immigration, POC, and everything else. So you're not the party of pro-black, standing on black, or anything like that. So let's keep that in mind as we get started. So let's go ahead on and look at what Bakari had posted on X. All right, so Bakari Sellers right here said, "Blacks for Trump. Don't worry. We just want y'all to know you're not qualified." Okay, so Trump, so far on Fox News, it showed this here. They say that's his cabinet picks as of right now. It's all the people that you see here on the screen. Well, Bakari Sellers, when people actually went and voted for Trump, they wasn't voting to get on his cabinet. That's number one. I didn't really hear a lot of black people saying, "Ooh, I want to go work for Trump." I never heard that. But based on your argument, what you just said, y'all are the party of people of color. Y'all the party of minorities. But we're not prioritizing black, but we're saying minorities. Now, based on Democrats' logic and Democrats, how would they promote? Well, Trump is actually do have some people of color on his team already. Let's go look at them. Vivek Ramaswamy is Indian, just like Kamala Harris. Just like Kamala Harris. So you should be happy that he got Vivek Ramaswamy because he's an Indian, just like your girl, Vice President Kamala Harris. Next, you have Tulsi Gabbard. She's a Samoan American, right? That's another person of color. There you go, Bakari. What are you complaining about? The third one I see so far on the list, Stephen Chung. He's Asian. I don't know what part, but he's at least Asian that we know. That's another person of color, right? You can't sit up here talking about blacks for Trump, but then at the same time talking about people of color. So if you're going to stand on people of color, then Trump got some people of color on his team, right? Okay, cool. You mentioned he got all these white people or whatever. Well, let me go there. Black mayors, all these different people in when y'all get elected positions, y'all don't put black people on. Y'all always want to say, I got to be diverse. I got to be this. I got to be that. But Trump, anybody else white, they don't sit up here and be practicing all this diversity like y'all. You know what I'm saying? So what are y'all talking about? Democrats are not a pro-black party. But let's go ahead and talk about somebody else who should be standing on business for black people. Since you got this to talk about. Let's go ahead and look at this picture right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is right here, as you can see, the Congressional Black Caucus. Look at all those people in the Congressional Black Caucus standing there. There goes Jasmine Crockett, sister girl Jasmine Crockett, from Texas. Shout out to her, fellow Texas native. Look your girl over here, Ilhan Omar, right? Now, Ilhan Omar says she's looking out for Somalis in Somalia. So why is she even in? At the moment she said that she couldn't even be in this, right? But fine, whatever. You got all these people in the Congressional Black Caucus that you see here. Let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen, as you look at this picture. All these people, how many of them have stood up for an anti-black hate crime bill? How many of them? Let me ask you another question. How many of them on this screen have you seen stomping and willing to protest and cause a ruckus on the House floor behind reparations in the form of cash payments? Have you ever seen that? That group right there that you see on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, have you seen this group do anything collectively for black Americans? This is all black people right here. Let me ask you another question. Has this group ever stood on business about ending qualified immunity for the police? On unison, have they ever said that if you do not vote on bills for black people, we're going to abstain from every vote in Congress. We're not voting for nothing until you start doing some bills for my community. Because I got to go back to my constituents and show black Americans that we're actually doing something for them in this caucus. Have you ever seen that? This caucus right here advocates for more immigration than black Americans. Mr. Horsford here, who's supposed to be the leader of the Congressional Black Caucus, he's Caribbean. And he be advocating for immigration too, just as much as Ilhan Omar and all the rest of them, right? But I don't hear you advocating for black Americans. So we got a whole caucus right here that never advocates for us, never at all. But y'all talking about Trump's cabinet. Let's go somewhere else real quick. This is the African American Mayors Association, okay? I'm on the about section, right? And we have all kind of, looking at Georgia, a popular state. You know, we got Andre Dickens right here. You know, he's the mayor, right? You got Lithonia. You got Mayor Shamika S. Reynolds. You know, Georgia got a lot of black mayors. Look at all these black mayors. Now, let me ask you a question about all these black mayors that you see here, Michael Owens, and you go to a place like, let's say, like Illinois. Of course, you're going to see Brandon Johnson right here. Has Brandon Johnson stood on business for black Americans? Let's call it what it is. Have they done it? Y'all up here talking about blacks for Trump, and then I don't know them people, whoever they are. I've seen them. They look silly to me. But why don't we talk about all these black mayors that we have that's not standing on business for black Americans, not putting on black Americans? Brandon Johnson is up here advocating for migrants and not advocating for black Americans. He's one of the main ones, right? These are your black mayors. Which one of them is standing on business for black America? I want to know. Is it Mayor Sheila Charlems Curran, or is it Mayor? Okay, we just clicked her, right? Is that the same woman twice? Okay, cool. What about Katrina Thompson? Is she standing on business? And I don't know that sister. I don't know her at all. I don't know. But you know, you go to New York, of course. You got Eric Adams. You know, he's a mayor of one of the largest cities in the nation, right? New York, and you know, he's just recently coming out against the migrants. You know, you got all these black mayors, Buffalo right here, Byron Brown. I'm pointing all that out to say this. You know, look, I come to my state, Texas, and then we can see we got this Glen Heights, Texas, Sonia Brown. And look at, you know, hey, you got that sister, Rachel Proctor, DeSoto. We have black mayors. In some states, you have no black mayors at all. Now, the reason why I'm pointing all this out, I'm pointing all this out for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. It's for a reason. Just follow me. We have all this representation. And notice our condition has not changed at all. Our condition has not changed. All these wonderful black mayors, all this Congressional Black Caucus, all these state reps that's in the states who are black, and nothing changes for black Americans. Bakari Sellers, the last thing you should be talking about is Trump's cabinet, when all these people that I'm showing you are Democrats that have not stood on business. Let me tell you something. If all those black people were doing excellent work for black people, Democrats wouldn't be in trouble like they are right now. You wouldn't have had registered Democrats who are black that voted for Trump. When people voted for Trump, what do they say? I'm voting for the economy, immigration, kitchen table issues like food prices, gas prices. They wasn't voting to see him put somebody on his cabinet. Nobody care about that. I don't care about it. The only cabinet I'm worrying about is my own cabinet, my kitchen cabinet, and my cabinet in my company. That's the only cabinet I'm worried about. I'm not worried about what Trump do in the White House. That's on him. He just needs to do what he needs to do. But see, you childish Democrats, I want somebody that look like me. And then when the Democrats give you somebody that look like you, they give you a Ketanji Brown Jackson who can't even tell you who a woman is. That's who they give you. One of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen in my life. You can't even, you a whole woman and can't tell somebody what a woman is. I don't see how she got confirmed to the Supreme Court. I'm like, look, if you can't even tell somebody what a woman is, I can't trust you to be a Supreme Court justice. When you ask for representation, they give you Kamala Harris. They don't give you a real black woman. Or if they do give you a real one, she got to have zaddy or something else going on with it. It can't be, like she with a brother and then they got some kids or anything like that. It can't be that. I know the Democrats moves. That's what I'm trying to say. I know how they move. They pass over the real black women. They pass over black women that stand on business for black people. Bakari Sellers, the last thing you should be worried about is Trump's cabinet, and you should be worried about getting the Congressional Black Caucus to do something for black people. Why, Bakari Sellers, I didn't hear you say one thing about Gavin Newsom and what he did about reparations. I didn't hear you at all, sir. You didn't say a word about what happened to black people in California. You said nothing. But you're going to open your mouth about Trump's cabinet? That's the last thing black folks are worried about is who's on Trump's cabinet. But then reparations in California, black people paying attention to that. That's the things I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. They sit up here and ignore things that are supposed to come for black people, like reparations, but they want you to get you stirred up on some racism and, oh, look, Trump racist. Look, he ain't putting no black people on there. Well, didn't he have Dr. Ben Carson last time? And he's not finished yet. So okay, if he don't put nobody black on it, I don't care. I'm not, like I say, once again, most black people don't care about that. But that's you Democrats. What you want is a black face to manage white supremacy. That's what you want, because that's what we get. We don't get a black person that's going to say, you know what, I'm fighting for my community because, hey, listen, your congressional rep, they have no excuse not to do for you. Let me tell you why. If they live in a district, and let's say that district's 80% or more black, right? You are their constituents. They don't have to worry about you. Like some maybe in a blended district, so they got to think about what they're going to do for the white people, what they're going to do for the Hispanics, the Asians. They got to kind of think about everybody, and I get that because everybody got to vote for you. But some of you congressional reps live in districts where it's like 80 plus 90% black. So you can go hard in the paint for reparations. You can go hard in the paint for anything for black people because you're not worried about your seat because your seat is fine. Because you got black people that's going to go vote for you. And and they still don't do nothing for black people. They still don't do anything. So I don't care about Trump's cabinet. Black America don't care about that. What we care about is, hey, is Trump gonna do what he say he gonna do? Is he gonna fix that economy? Is he gonna start up these mass deportations? He gonna make these prices go down? Well, that's what we looking for. We don't worry about who's on his cabinet. Y'all, last time he put his cabinet together, he had a lot of white folks on that too. Why you didn't say nothing then? Y'all trying everything possible, Democrats, to try to stir up black people, because that's all thing you can do. Listen, black people is over the identity politics, because when y'all were doing identity politics, y'all did nothing for black people. See, if y'all would have, okay, you stirring up identity politics, cool, and actually did something for our people, then that's different. But if you did something for our people, Harris would be the president-elect, not Trump. So that is what y'all have to accept, period. All this representation that black Americans have, and we still at the bottom. You know the migrants don't have the representation that we have? Do you know Asians don't have the representation that we have in this country? Do you know Hispanics don't have it? Arabs, East Indians, none of these other groups have the political representation that black Americans have in this country. And yet, those same black representation that you have help the Hispanics, the Asians, the Arabs, and all these other groups get above us. Brandon Johnson, Chicago, they sitting up here helping Venezuelans get houses. They're sitting up there letting them have free rent. But what about black Americans? That's what I'm talking about. That's why a lot of black people say, man, forget these black politicians. We might well put somebody else in there. They ain't doing nothing for black people. Gone is the day that we're going to sit up here and let you stir up some stuff about some racism. That's over and done with. Because you go look at your job. Go look at the board in your job. They're probably not going to look like Trump's cabinet. They're going to be all white. Go look at the board at the local hospital that you're going to. Go look at any major store you're shopping at. Go look at the board. It's not going to be a bunch of black folks on there. Let's just keep it 100. Is that going to stop us from shopping, going to the hospital? Is that going to stop us from using services or whatever because we aren't dominating the board? Once again, I don't want to dominate nobody else's board. I don't feel good about myself seeing some black faces on there. Because what if them black faces are sellouts? I want my own board. Putting my own board together. My own company. That I can pick people. And let me tell you something about hiring. Hiring is intentional. That I can tell you. I have been through times where I had to bring people in. And I had to make choices based off of, were they good or not? Sometimes I get it right. A lot of times I get it right. Sometimes I've gotten it wrong and I'll say, okay, well, that didn't work out or whatever. But hiring is very intentional. And let's call it what it is. White folks gonna look out for white folks like they're supposed to. White people supposed to put white people on. We supposed to be putting our people on. We supposed to be prioritizing black people. When I go to Asian businesses, I see a bunch of Asian people working. A lot of times it's family, whatever. You go to Hispanic businesses, a bunch of Hispanics working. East Indians, it be them working. Arabs, it's them working. They be in our communities and don't even hire us. That's how cold they are. But when we get businesses, I'm not saying all of us, a lot of us put our people on, but some of us don't even do it. That's all I'm thinking that I'm saying. So Bakari, man, you can miss me with that, bro. And until the Congressional Black Caucus start doing for black people, until these black mayors start doing for black people, and I'm not talking about one or two, because you may say, well, this mayor is great. Maybe they are. But that's a minority. That's not the majority. Until we get the Democrats who are black to get on code and fight for black people, man, I can care less about what's on Trump's cabinet. And black American care less on their cabinet. Find something else to argue about, Bakari. Find something else. Because your usefulness is just, you're not useful to the Democrats no more. And that's what y'all worried about. Y'all relevance have went away with Vice President Kamala Harris. You're trying so hard to stir black people up. It's just not going to work.